This is really lowbrow. Weenie and the butt.
Weenie and the butt.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with the 90s. You can also find the show on YouTube every Monday at namely90s.com/YouTube. And finally, if you'd like to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/namely90s with a 90s and sign up for a support level. I thought you froze again, but once again, it was just the Zoom fake out.
Yes, I froze in place. I don't know why I didn't stop or why I didn't continue to breathe. I don't think you could
Yeah, I don't think your camera's high enough def for me to tell if you're breathing or not.
It says it's 1080p. I don't know how it works for streaming, but yeah. That's just me being silly over at namely90s.com/YouTube.
Anyway, well, how are things? What just happened? Thanksgiving recently? Did we talk about that? We didn't talk about that because we didn't know how it was.
Right.
How was Thanksgiving?
It's good. Second year in a row, I went down to LA area, Pasadena, because my aunt and uncle that lived in the Bay Area retired down there. And so went down there and hung out with family for a little while and went around and did touristy stuff. It's fun. We get to, like, after going to the Bay Area for so many years, now I get to go and explore the LA area with my aunt and uncle.
Yeah, whenever I'm looking to leave the bustling big city of the Bay Area, I move immediately to Los Angeles.
Well, that's Pasadena, but yeah, I know what you're saying. No, they moved down there to be closer to my aunt's daughter.
No, that's fair. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, and the grandchildren. I
was expecting it to be like, oh, they moved out to North Dakota, but that was a wild card. They're like, they went from the frying pan into the fire. Yeah, essentially. Which is an apt analogy for California, by the way.
Went from the yay to the hell a.
Ooh,
there we go.
Very good. Very good. What was the highlight of the food situation?
Ooh, let's see. I went to, there's a brand new Japantown. Apparently there's only 4 Japantowns in America that are legally labeled a Japantown. And most of them are in California, and there's 2 now in LA. We went to an okonomiyaki restaurant, which is like a Japanese cabbage pancake, and they did it the Hiroshima style, which has noodles on it, which was, I've never had that before. Apparently I'm pronouncing Hiroshima.
I avoided the impulse to make any kind of a joke there. Anyway, I was actually referring to the Thanksgiving spread, but thank you for that.
Sure. Thanksgiving spread. Well, so my cousin, she baked like 5 pies. Her husband did a prime rib. They did ham, stuffing. My aunt also cooked a bunch of like Chinese dishes, sticky rice, shrimp.
The traditional broccoli beef for Thanksgiving.
No, there's like a stuffed peppers with peppers stuffed with like a fish paste that bakes in the solid.
So this sounds good.
Oh yeah, quite good.
How many were in attendance?
Total, let's see. I think there's 11, including the kids.
It's a lot of food.
But yeah, a lot of food for not a lot of people, but
Cool.
It was good.
We had traditional white people Thanksgiving, which was mostly just mainly what I do is I just douse everything in gravy. Love gravy. My mom was like, I'm going to make 2 cups of gravy. And I was like, double it.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Like, Mom, no.
We had au jus.
This year I made the stuffing, or the dressing, if you will, which is sage, apple, and toasted walnut. Excellent. Ooh. Best recipe out there.
Fancy boy.
And I made our famous creamed corn, which is not that famous, but delicious anyway.
We had a corn casserole dish, which is apparently a Midwest style creamed corn.
Yeah, it's like is it like a spoon bread, or is it thinner?
It's thinner. It's like somewhere between like a corn bread, I guess, and a creamed corn. It was like
it might be like make a spoon bread. You're listening to Namely Corn Casseroles.
Well, I don't know what a spoon bread is.
It's like that. It's kind of it's a jiggly creamed corn, but not quite cake consistency. Like
you could scoop it out as a single. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting. Very interesting. Well, I'm a big fan of Thanksgiving. We do Italian on Christmas. We do a big lasagna, which kind of bores me to death. I love holiday food, but my brother loves Italian food. So that's our trade-off. He gets the lasagna on Christmas and I get the turkey on Thanksgiving. Did
you always do the lasagna?
No, that kind of evolved later. We realized you don't have to have a turkey every time.
That's the same with us for Thanksgiving. Apparently no one in my family on that side likes turkey. So,
but when someone rolls up with a turkey and then someone else rolls up with a prime rib, that's where it's at.
Right.
Just saying. That's the holidays on the west side.
I was like, oh, I mean, have you ever thought about spatchcocking the turkey? Kind of just because my cousin's husband, he bought a smoker in the last year, and that's how he did the prime rib. And so it was just like, I feel like every time we hang out, I like just put a little extra, suggest a subliminal message in his head, like, oh, you could do this.
Hold on. How old is this person?
He's probably late 30s.
White?
Half.
Still.
Ish. Yes.
Late 30s, mostly white dude buying a smoker.
Yeah.
It's either that or get super into World War II history. Those are the 2 things you can do.
With 2 kids. Yeah. Yep. Nope.
Or wear sunglasses on the back of your head and talk about Donald Trump all the time. Those are the 3.
I do think they're liberal, being mostly Asian.
That's good. That's good.
But who knows?
Who knows? Well, happy holidays and more to come soon, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Well, speaking of holidays, today is Spotify Wrapped Day.
Wrapped Day!
Do you know about this? Do you
not a clue? I learned about it today, and I still don't even really fully know what it is.
I'll have to send you our stats after
Please
this. Do. But basically, Spotify, the people who use Spotify, which I don't, they get like their breakdown of what they've listened to the most and what bands and songs they listen to the most, top 5, whatever, in a Instagrammable little thing in their Spotify app. And so everyone's social media today is just like, oh, this is my Spotify Wrapped, unless you're too embarrassed by how many times you listened to ABBA in the past year. But for me, it's a day of like realizing how out of the loop I am for like indie music, because I'll see like people that I know that listen to music that I kind of like just have completely, like, I have no idea who's on their top 5 played artists. I've never heard of these songs before, so it's kind of a day to catch up.
I'm looking at mine for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
My top song of the year was Los Angeles is Burning by Bad Religion. You played this song a very reasonable 9 times, it says.
You also have to play at least 30 songs for at least 30 seconds throughout the year to
I think I did
qualify. There's also a page for your podcast that you listen to with Spotify.
All of my top listened to songs were Bad Religion. That's pretty cool because that's all I listened to
on Spotify
when I was on Spotify, because then I gave up.
Yeah, like I said, I don't use Spotify. I prefer having music on my phone.
This is stupid.
Congratulations. Yeah. This is real time Andrew learning how dumb this is.
That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Well, then shall we leave the comforts of modern technology behind and travel back to the 90s?
Yeah, let's do it. December 1998. What was going on?
Travel back with me, listeners, if you will, to December of 1998. On the 1st, Exxon announces a $73.7 billion deal to buy Mobil, creating the now infamous Exxon Mobil, the world's largest company.
Still?
I don't know. Still, at the time, it was the world's largest company. On the 4th, the Unity module, which is the second piece of the International Space Station, is launched on the Endeavour, which is the first United States built piece to reach the ISS. Yes. Is that still up there? I feel like it's still up there.
It is, yes.
It hasn't been struck down by China doing missile tests?
I'm sure it will be soon enough.
Was it Russia?
Elon Musk's satellites?
Well, they got struck recently, but it was either China or Russia doing a space missile test.
Of course.
Yeah, they blew up a satellite, and then, space debris is dangerous, everyone. Just stop blowing up satellites. On the 6th, Hugo Chavez is elected president of Venezuela.
Hugo Chavez.
Right? On the 7th, Star Wars Rogue Squadron is released for the Nintendo 64, followed by Hey You Pikachu on the 12th for the Nintendo 64, as well as Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color. Well, those are released in Japan on the 12th. And also in Japan on the 18th. Remember, the Wikipedia is weird about dates released. So
indeed, Mario
Party for the Nintendo 64 and the Pokemon trading card game video game for the Game Boy Color is released in Japan. On the 19th, the U.S. House of Representatives vote to impeach sitting President Bill Clinton. Is that how that works?
Or was he standing?
Do they sit? Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm
receiving
in the allegations.
President.
Receiving president.
On the 21st, Baldur's Gate is released on the on the PC. And finally, on the 31st, currency in the Eurozone becomes fixed. That's the euro. And on the 31st, the last leap second for 7 years occurs. Leap second. It's when we add an extra second or take an extra second out of the year to make sure that everything's still synced with.
Right, because the Earth actually takes it just a little more than 24 hours to spin.
Exactly. And also, at some point during the month, Take-Two Interactive forms the Rockstar Games publishing label.
Woo!
And also at some point during the month, the Pokemon trading card game comes to the U.S. and is published by Wizards of the Coast.
Driving kids into lives of crime.
Although there were some reports that it came out in January of 99, but we're going with 98 just because that's what it said somewhere. Conflicting reports. I think it's even conflicting in the actual Wikipedia article.
Perfect.
In the box office, we have on the 11th, Jack Frost featuring Michael Keaton. Also on the 11th, Shakespeare in Love and Star Trek Insurrection. On the 18th, we have You've Got Mail. On the 23rd, we have The Thin Red Line. And finally, on the 25th, we have The Faculty, Mighty Joe Young, and Patch Adams. Finally, in the Billboard charts, number 1 for December 1998, I'm Your Angel by R. Kelly and Celine Dion. A song I do not remember and do not care to. And for the first week in December 1998, at number 4, we have Doo Wop That Thing by Lauryn Hill. Number 5, we have From This Moment On by Shania Twain. Number 6, Because of You by 98 Degrees. Number 9, Iris by Goo Goo Dolls. Even the Billboard charts says the Goo Goo Dolls like half the time. Number 11, This Kiss by Faith Hill. Number 12, Lullaby by Sean Mullins.
Hey, these are starting to sound familiar.
That one was in the quiz from last week. Number 13, 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies. Number 14, Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry.
Also from last week.
Yep. Number 16, Jumper by Third Eye Blind. Number 17, Thank You by Alanis Morissette. Number 18, Baby One More Time by the now emancipated Britney Spears. Is that how that works?
Brittany. Yes.
Brittany.
She's no longer a slave. What?
For you. Number 24, Hands by Jewel. And number 25, Slide by the Goo Goo Dolls.
The Goo Goo Dolls. Hey, namely 90s faithful.
Our 12 Days of Christmas specials are back for a second year.
Starting Tuesday, December 21st, we'll be dropping a special episode every day through New Year's Day.
That's right, that's 12 whole episodes to tide you over this holiday season, while your other favorite podcasts are taking a well-deserved rest.
But that's not all. These aren't any normal episodes of Namely 90s. No, we will be bringing on other podcasters as guests and looking back at some memorable and some horrible holiday special episodes of our favorite 90s television.
So if you're out doing some last-minute Christmas shopping, looking to escape from your family get-together, or wanting to feel a little extra love from us and our blanket of nostalgia, we are kicking off our 12 Days of Christmas specials Tuesday, December 21st.
Find it on your platform of choice at namely90s.com/listen. And make sure to check out Kayla on our special episode on Jingle All the Way to kick off the festivities on Monday, December 20th before we drop the 12 Days of Christmas specials the following day.
And now back to the show, unless we have something to say there.
That's like the Ohio State University.
Yes. I mean, who just says Goo Goo Dolls and who leaves it uncapitalized? Like they got like really picky, like after decades after when the band was actually like relevant.
Yeah, that's a really annoying thing to complain about.
Like,
at least they're saying your name.
Like, I get it. Panic at the Disco removes their exclamation mark. That's fine. I get it. That's annoying to have the Panic at the Disco. But come on.
Are you guys going to see Panic at the Disco? Just pregnant pause after pregnant pause.
I mean, what else would there be?
Pregnant
I don't know, ladies.
But I feel like just making the pause extra long in an awkward way is always fun.
Yes. I'm here to see Panic at the Disco.
Okay.
Yeah. Anywhere you want to
go? Well, two things.
Yes.
What didn't we talk about? You've Got Mail already?
No, we did a Quotely 90s for.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Also, we may have talked about Sleepless in Seattle. Which
one's the bookstore one?
This one's the bookstore one.
Okay.
Sleepless in Seattle is the one that stars Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Thank you for the clarification.
And it's in Seattle.
This is where I joked that basically while they were having like this little cute whatever thing, Jeff Bezos was creating Amazon. And it was like, okay, well,
yeah.
Screw these two. Anyway.
Well, do you remember You've Got Mail then?
I remember there was mail. That was AOL, right? That You've Got Mail.
Yes, You've Got Mail.
Put the AOL disc in the computer. Fire up that bad boy.
What does the L stand for?
America Online. On the line.
That was before online was one word.
Wow. Yes.
Jeez.
America Online.
Wow. The 90s, man.
People still have AOL email addresses. That's the funny thing. I'm like, how do I know you're a boomer? You have an AOL email address. That's how.
Or MSN or.
Yeah, but AOL is a special kind where it's like you have it because you subscribed to AOL
Earthlink.
when you still could. Net Zero.
Yeah.
Juno.
Anything with a free CD key.
Yeah. Whew, boy.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, how much, how often are they like culling through their email and just like deleting everything? Like, is that as someone with 93,663 unread emails from over the past decade and a half.
Well, I just ended up doing a bulk delete. I was like, just searched all unread emails and I was like, well, I haven't read them by now. It just deleted all of them.
That's a good point. I don't know.
Google did not like it. It took it a while to like do it properly.
I mean, it's still like less than a gig's worth of emails. I don't.
No, I know. I just didn't like it.
I'm waiting until I hit 6 digits and then maybe I'll start taking a hard look at my life.
So anyway,
You've Got Mail, 1998 romantic comedy filmed and directed by Nora Ephron, which is a name that should trigger something. No?
Zac Efron's mom?
I don't think they're related. No.
Okay.
Nora Ephron, like, she's like the 90s chick flick lady, I guess. Maybe even before that, 80s, 90s. Let's see,
American journalist.
When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle. You've Got Mail.
Let's just say probably a good thing she spends most of her time behind the camera.
Julie and Julia.
That was mean, but I went there.
It was. Yeah. Nora Ephron movies are chick flicks.
Chick flicks.
Generally.
She died in 2012.
Oh, rip.
At the age of 71.
Wow. Didn't realize she was that old. I don't know. She looks pretty for some reason.
Oh, she worked briefly as an intern in the White House of President John F. Kennedy.
Jeez, that is a long life there.
Yeah.
You've Got Mail, inspired by the 1937 Hungarian play Parfumery. You remember that one, right?
Yeah, by Miklos Laszlo.
Oh yeah. Apparently it was adapted into 2 other plays or movies. But yes, so it's a story of 2 people in an online romance who are unaware they are also business rivals. Basically Tom Hanks is in charge of a big box store that's moving in next to, or a big box bookstore. I don't know what you would call that. Bookstore,
like a Borders or a Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I don't think Borders. Does Borders still exist?
No,
I think Borders is gone. Yeah.
I think Borders became Forever 21. I mean, specifically the Borders at Alderwood Mall. I don't mean like that they became the store Forever 21.
They were all the rage once upon a time.
Isn't it weird there's a Cheesecake Factory at the Alderwood Mall now?
Yes, because the Cheesecake Factory used to only be at classy places. Like, like the middle of downtown Seattle.
Yeah. So the 1937 Hungarian play was about the internet?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I assume from the title, it was rival...
perfumeries.
Yes.
Perfume stores, if you will.
But yeah, so they enter like an email online relationship, which is strange. And, they both have their own romantic partners that are terrible for them. And then they fall in love, and then they realize they're the other opposite person because they keep almost meeting each other, and then they do, and then they hate each other, but then complain about the person over email
to each other.
And
then they're like, oh yeah. And they're sort of like commiserating over this. And then they find out they're in love with each other,
which causes the third act shake up. And then one of them obviously tries to make it up to the other.
When you're like, this is all going a little too well. I wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I assume Meg Ryan's boyfriend tries to propose at some point.
Is it weird that I'm driven nuts by that?
What?
Well, that thing they always do in every movie where it's like things are going super well. Oh no, now they're going badly. I wonder how they will wrap this up.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. No, I mean, it's any romantic comedy. Like I watched that one on Netflix, that new one on Netflix about Christmas, where the Asian guy catfishes the California Malibu BuzzFeed writer girl, and she flies out to meet him for Christmas, to surprise him for Christmas, and it turns out he looks like a nerdy Asian dude, not a hot Asian dude.
I guess it's better than when like people just kill everybody in a show and like that's their thing. That's annoying. It's like, oh, they killed somebody again. What a shock. Game of Thrones.
Walking Dead.
True.
Oh, but that's newer. That's newer. Like,
that's the new thing. Kill everybody.
That's a new thing when you're like, I don't care if you have a contract. I'm going to kill you and your character off.
You'll never believe what happens at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Well, why do I believe it though? That's the thing.
Like, it was shocking when it was Glenn being killed by the guy with the baseball bat.
Means nothing.
I haven't seen that season. Walking Dead.
Okay.
Like that was like one of the first big shakeups in a long time on The Walking Dead, and then Game of Thrones just went hard balls to the wall with it.
So, what do we think about You've Got Mail?
I think it's better than Sleepless in Seattle. It's less depressing.
Fair.
It's cute. It's more cutesy. It's a Nora Ephron movie. No, I think this one is New York.
Yeah, it seems right.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's hard to separate this from Sleepless in Seattle and Joe versus the Volcano.
Imagine being the person who wrote that play in like the 1930s, and then to find out that it just basically was turned into like the iconic line from AOL.
You've got mail. Well, I mean, he would have no concept of what email or AOL was and all that.
True.
All
right. Anyway, what's that? What else? What else do we have to talk about?
Speaking of balls to the walls, let's go Pokeballs to the wall.
Oh boy.
Pokemon trading card game. Because that was a big part of the 90s. That was a big part of my 90s. I don't think you played. Did you play?
Yes, but I dabbled. I had some cards, and
did we do one of the actual games?
I did try to play it a couple times, but it was quite. I mean, I remember it. I remember like the different energy cards or whatever, the different like elements.
It's right? Basically like Magic, which skinned with Pokemon, like more or less. Which I've never played Magic, but that's what I hear people compare it to.
Magic: The Gathering of Virgins. What?
I did play Pokemon TCG back in the day. That's and I also, the local Toys R Us had like a Pokemon card tournament like every weekend or whatever. They were like, if you went there, you can win gym badges, which were like physical little pins, and as a like what 1998, 99. So like as a 10-year-old with no concept of how to play this game strategically, I would go there, get my ass handed to me, and I
feel like I remember this being a thing in the 5th grade.
Yes. Yes, because people like bringing in Japanese Pokemon cards. I remember one of my classmates, Chelsea, we'll call her. Her brother had a bunch of Japanese cards, and she brought them into class and showed them off. And someone may have walked off with them at one point.
Wasn't that me?
No.
Was that you?
Allegedly, if not in a hypothetical situation, it might have been me. But I tried to return it to her at one point.
I do remember distinctly.
Yes.
It was in Mrs. Felty's 5th grade class.
I didn't realize we were in the same 5th grade class.
Yeah, and it was like right just around the corner from the computer lab classroom that I used to help in.
Uh-huh.
I forget the name of the person who was in there.
I thought John Christmas Special and I were in the same.
I specifically remember 5th grade. That's who I had.
Okay. I had the same 4th and 5th grade teacher. We got the grant from Bill Gates, and they gave us the computers in the classroom.
I remember I would help in the computer lab, and we had the Sony Mavica digital camera. Remember that thing? What a beast.
Yes.
You
I
put
don't
a
think we were
floppy
in the
disk
same
in
5th
there?
grade class.
No, but I had her for 5th grade.
Okay.
You must have had someone different.
Yes. I want to say Born.
No, that was our second grade teacher. Get it right. No, sorry.
No, I remember whoever the 5th grade teacher was, she was from Texas. So she'd do Longhorns.
But if you guys want to see a blast from the past,
Blast
from the past,
The Mavica.
look up the Sony Mavica. Just slide that floppy disk right on in there.
Oh, that used a floppy disk? Wow.
Mm-hmm. You know it.
What was that, like a 2 kilobyte or kilopixel camera?
Yeah, exactly. It was 1 pixel. That was just the average color of everything in the frame of view.
But yes, Pokemon trading card game was pretty big for a little while, and it had a resurgence during COVID. Also, sorry to our hypothetical classmate named Chelsea. Sorry about your last name.
Yeah.
On the, what was I going to say?
Must have been hard living with a name like that.
2020, YouTubers really, she's going to hate us if she ever hears this.
No one's ever going to hear this. Let's be honest.
Fair enough. 2020, because of the lockdown, people our age started buying up all the Pokemon cards and like opening them on Twitch streams and stuff. And then a YouTuber, one of the D-bag ones, like I want to say Logan Paul, paid like an absurd amount of money for a first edition holographic Charizard, which was like the card to get out of the base deck or the original series. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I do. I remember that very distinctly.
Never got one of those. I was very sad. I do have a new generation, a reprint, but
a reprint. Good God.
Well, so here's the thing. My nephew got into Pokemon cards a few years ago, and so I wanted to play him with a deck of like the old school cards. So it seems like every 5 years they re-release the same like the Gen 1 cards.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Spider-Man movie. Sorry. No.
Pretty much. So I was trying to beat him using all the like first generation cards with a deck that I built, and like these new cards are freaking crazy, man. Like 300 HP with base point, like a level 1 card can have that. And then like it does like 170 damage per attack. And I'm just like looking at like the Charizard had like 120 HP. Like that's ridiculous. The new Pokemon trading card game is way OP.
Kids these days will never know how bad we had it.
Well, I mean, after 25 years, apparently you
I guess that's inflation. No, that's not how that works.
Kind of though. Yeah. So I am staring at my Pokemon deck that I'm taking home for Christmas to face off against my little nephew.
With your weakling like 90s Pokemon.
Well, I may have also been one of the terrible YouTube generation millennials that bought some Pokemon cards during the pandemic to beef up my deck.
Wow, you're such a snowflake.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I went to Target at like 8 a.m. recently, and there's like people waiting in line to rush and like steal or to grab all the Pokemon cards they can and resell it on the internet because some douchebag YouTuber paid $1 million for a Charizard holo.
I want to go stand in line at Target with all those people and be like ready to go. and then run in as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then just go to the cat litter, which is where I usually go. Just be like, whew, boy, I thought this cat litter was going to go too quick. Whew.
And then like on top of that, it's just like the kids can't get these cards now because scalpers are like no one can get a PS5. No one can get Pokemon cards. And these scalpers are just like buying it and then reselling it for quadruple the price on eBay and stuff. And it's just like, did you hear like McDonald's over the summer had I think we might have talked about this over the summer. McDonald's had like a little booster packs they put in the Happy Meals,
right?
And people our age would go to the McDonald's and just buy them out of the toys. And it's like your kid's not getting a toy in the Happy Meal because some selfish jerk our age.
Wait, you can just buy the toys?
Yeah, you always.
They should just not allow that.
Well, they didn't think about it. Like they even bought out all of the like Happy Meal boxes that had Pokemon branding on them.
Should we try to bring back Beanie Babies?
Yes, because I have a bunch of Beanie Babies that I would like to get rid of.
We gotta sell early though.
Ooh, yeah, we could do that. We should do that. Everyone listening to the sound of my voice,
we should create our own cryptocurrency named after Beanie Babies.
Well, I have actual Beanie Babies.
Bucks.
I have actual Beanie Babies that are in storage that we could probably like. We need one famous YouTuber to be like, I miss collecting Beanie Babies, and then
we're creating Beanie Bucks. I'm telling you.
All right, Beanie Bucks, Name Me 90s cryptocurrency, Beanie Bucks.
TM.
That's
FU. CK. What?
So level 1 tier on Patreon. That's namely90s.com/Patreon. Speaking of terrible ideas, Star Trek Insurrection.
/patreon.com/namely90s with the 90s. You said it backwards.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Patreon.com/namely90s with 90s. Yes, that makes more sense. Also, if you click on the donate button on our website, it'll take you to a Rickroll. In the Star Trek Insurrection, we've been going through the TNG Star Trek movies in like the last month or so. So this is the last. I'm pretty sure this is the last one from the 90s that we'll be talking about. It breaks my heart. And this was a bad one. So there. Although I don't think it gets enough credit. I watched it within the last 5 years and thought this isn't terrible. It's just the basic plot is they're helping these people off of a planet that are being attacked by another race, and which turns out to be the same race, just they've left the planet. And the planet has like a fountain of youth aspect to it for some reason. So as the crew's on the planet, they just like get super randy with each other, and
randy.
The Klingon gets Klingon pimples, and Geordi can see because apparently he wasn't blind when he was a kid, but I'm pretty sure he was. I don't know. I don't remember how the fountain of youth works. But yeah, it wasn't. People don't think it's great. I think it's a very just. It's Star Trek.
Passable.
Yes, passable. Thought we should finish off with some video games, I think.
Sure.
Do you remember any of these?
Link's Awakening. I'm aware of that.
Let's talk Link's Awakening then. Didn't we already talk Link's Awakening?
I don't know. Point? Why don't you tell me about these games?
Well, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is a 1993 action-adventure game for the Nintendo Game Boy. I think that's when we talked about it originally. And it was remade and re-released for the Game Boy Color in whatever year. This is 1998. And then remade again for the Nintendo Switch, which I think your wife Kayla purchased when she bought her Switch Lite.
That sounds correct.
When you two were here on vacation the first time. Second time? First time.
First time.
First time. Yes. It's a cute little fun game that with an existential crisis because Link washes up on an island that's actually a dream. And as you were helping defeat the monsters, you realize that the monsters are all a part of the dream. And once the dream monsters are dead, the dream ends and everyone on the island dies because of the dream.
Monsters were actually his own monsters internally.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a fun little game. I really enjoyed the re-release. I remember this game in particular was on a Game Boy Color in the Macy's, which might have been the Macy's in the Alderwood Mall.
You don't think it was a Bon Marché?
It was Macy's at this point, I want to say. Yes, because Bon Marché was bought out.
In August 2003, Federated rebranded the Bon Marché, turning it into Bon Macy's.
Really? Okay, so it was still Bon Marché. No, well, was it Bon Marché at the... Maybe I'm thinking of the Everett Mall.
It was changed into Bon Macy's in 2003.
Okay. Was
the Bon Marché.
Was the Alderwood one always... was it a Bon Marché before it was a Macy's though?
I believe so. I believe so.
Anyway, in the Bon Marché, on the top floor in the kids section, there was a Game Boy Color that you could play for all the kids that were shopping with their parents and hated doing that and wanted to play video games. And I remember they just had it just sitting there in a kiosk, like a play Nintendo games kiosk where they would sell overpriced Nintendo games. And they had this one in the Game Boy for the longest time. Like, find another game for people to play. Like, why would a linear game be the one that you leave in the Game Boy? Like, all people are going to do is just delete the save files and rename the link as Butts or something.
Butts.
With 5 Z's. But yeah, it's also the only Zelda game with Yoshi.
Oh, really? It's kind of a weird little tidbit.
Well, it's he's a doll, but in the game there's like a chain chomp. There's a lot of like Mario characters in the game, or Mario like creatures in the game, and it's also the first appearance of Malin and Terran.
Talon?
I think he was Terran in this game, but
okay,
same thing. I think it was Marin and Terran. But yes. That's all I got for you.
That's a lot of nothing that I know nothing about.
Do you remember Hey You Pikachu?
No, I don't.
I never had it, but
is it like the Pikachu version of Tamagotchi?
Kind of, yeah. So it was for the Nintendo 64. I think it utilized the expansion pack, but you also got like this microphone attachment that connected to your 64 controller.
Wow, that's cheesy.
Yeah, and you would speak into it and control the Pikachu, and they also released like a Nintendo 64 themed Pikachu that was like blue, and then Pikachu's like slid up and down for the power button. Might have been Pokeballs. I don't remember. Yeah, that's all I have to contribute to that. And Rogue Squadron, I never had the original one, I don't think. For the 64, I had...
That's like a flying game?
Star Wars, yeah. It was like their flight simulator on console. But it also had like points where you'd run around with a lightsaber.
The only Star Wars game I remember is Star Wars Dark Forces, which was like a first-person shooter.
Dark Forces 1 or 2?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay. Because 2 is like the classic that everyone remembers.
It might have been 2.
Okay. Yeah. I remember Rogue Squadron 2 and 3 were for the GameCube, and 3 was cool because you got to play through like Luke's storyline in...
Yeah, I played Dark Forces 1. That's what we had on our computer.
Oh, geez.
Not 2. I want to go back and play that.
2 is available on the Nintendo Switch and probably Steam.
Nice.
For cheap. Yeah, I tried playing it. I could not get the controls down. Well, anything else? December 1998?
No, unfortunately, I don't. Oh, boy, this is a rough one for me.
Well, then that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s Abrupt End. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check the episode description for this week's supplemental Spotify playlist curated by yours truly. And find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely90s90s. Tell us your memories of these Nintendo products that we never had. And find our personal accounts at bschwitty and at NamelyAndrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at namely90s.patreon.co/namely9 with 97s5.
Yeah.
Finally, you can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Pocket Monsters, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, and that's Andrew, and we will catch you next time. I can't use that one as a kicker.